Alright guys, welcome back. I am Ray. I've got another manga book for you today. I've got Reborn as a space mercenary. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back here. Alright, when I woke up, I found myself in outer space and in a universe like the one in my favorite game. With my beloved ultra spec out ship, I can make a ton of money as a mercenary and live out my days as some cozy planet. At least that's what I thought, until the beautiful babe, the mountains of depth, stumbled into my arms. The space fantasy like never experienced before joined Satu Takaharu and his crew of hotties on an overpowered starship as they speed through a strange new universe seeking adventure. So, with that, let's get right into it. And of course, I'm going to be talking about spoilers, so if you don't want to get spoiled, feel free to watch this video at a later time. Alright, so let's go ahead and dive right into this. So with that, we are going into another kind of trope type of story. So I've been seeing a little bit of a trend when it comes to these manga stories that, you got a main character that's been reborn as or reincarnated as and so forth into, a typical human character going into like some sort of fantasy realm. So I gotta take a look to see if it's by the same author or by the same publishing corporation, but I'm kind of hoping that this trope, so far they've been good stories. I just hope that it doesn't get over abused and kind of burnt out on these type of storytelling. But yeah, an interesting trope that I've been starting to see with manga books. But other than that, this particular manga is actually pretty good. So we go into our main character here. We call himself Hero in the game. And essentially, he is day-to-day human. And he's working on playing with his favorite game called Stella Online, and the acronym is SOL, so SOL. One day he finds himself actually in this world, and last he remembered that he was actually playing this game, and then he awakens into his favorite video game. So with that, we find ourselves in his starship. And the first kind of events that happen is that he gets attacked by pirates because apparently in this ship right here, he's carrying some very valuable minerals, and the pirates obviously want to get it. And then come to find out, this ship is really overpowered to the point that he was able to defeat the pirates. So with that, he's trying to gain his bearings after he defeats the pirates, and then he goes over to a space station that is owned by the Towermen. I'm probably mispronouncing this faction, but yeah, it's owned by the Towermen Empire, and then he's interrogated because his bio is not on record, his ship is not registered, so. And this type of configuration is something that they've never seen before. And so they interrogate him. And then we start to see one of the officers of the Terramin Empire by the name of Lieutenant Serena. And so he interrogates our main character. And he was able to, I don't want to say trick Lieutenant Serena, but was able to talk his way out of the situation. And so he was let go, and the Terran Empire paid him for all the materials and minerals that he was and resources that he was transporting, and it came out to like 2.5 million energy. That's kind of the currency system they use in this particular game, and so that was going to last him for like 40 years of in-game currency. And so, we find him trying to figure out what is he going to do next, and so he runs into. Well, first he has to register a ship, obviously. So he goes because he wants to be a missionary or mercenary, excuse me. And so he finds himself registering with a guild, so that way his ship can be registered and he won't have to go through the interrogation process again. So we run into our next main character, which is Elma. Elma is this individual right here. Apparently she is an elf, quote unquote, from what Hero states, and he was quite surprised to see a quote-unquote elf in this space fantasy realm. But anyways, she's definitely a stuck-up little bee that is cocky, overconfident, and I would say probably jealous a little bit because Hero had to do a simulator for the guild to see where they can place him in the rank structure and so forth. And apparently he was really good. And so our Elma here is definitely quite jealous of that. But Elma kind of shows our main protagonist Hero how to kind of live life a little bit in this world, get groceries and so forth. So we kind of go through a montage of character building between the two. And then they run into our next main character, which is Mimi, which is this individual right here. Now, she has a sad story arc from the beginning. Apparently, her parents died in a so-called oxygen accident that happened on this particular planet that there are space station, I should say. And unfortunately, she was the daughter of the two that were killed, and the local government and popular opinion put all the blame on her, and so she was basically homeless. So our two main characters here meet up with Mimi, who was unfortunately getting beat up at the time, and so our hero, main character here, went in and rescued her. Now there was some baggage, unfortunately, with Mimi because of the incident that happened with the oxygen, with her parents and her parents being killed. Apparently, it racked up to like 500,000 energy worth of damage, and so our main character hero here decide to it doesn't really say how he's going to do it, but it sounds like he's going to enroll her into the mercenaries, so that way she can eventually pay the debts. Now, it doesn't sound like that he's going to repay it up front. He was debating it, but it wasn't really clear on exactly how that transaction went through. But nevertheless, we now have another member of the crew. Essentially, Elma doesn't join the crew yet, but I feel like in the next volume she will be. And so we see more character building with Mimi and Hero, and yeah, it was quite touching to say the least. The characters are really good. You've got a man actually being a man and being a gentleman-like character, which is nice to see, especially towards Mimi. He's really sweet, and with that, they're asked by the Tyramin Empire that they have a special mission for all the mercenaries. And so they go through the battle plan, and we see our crew essentially. At the time right now, it's just Hero and Mimi. Elma has yet to join the crew. It's not really implied that she's part of the crew, but hopefully we see more of that in Volume 2. And then they're going to go off into a mission that deals with the pirates. It's going to be a pirate raid, essentially. So, and then they go into the mission. And that pretty much wraps up Volume 1. So overall, this story reminded me of gaming. Every time I see a ship, every time I see currency, every time I see kind of the lore being talked about, it reminded me of 3 games in particular: Elite Dangerous, Star Citizen, and Star Made. You know, all those games have the currency systems to buy ships, to deal with pirates, to go gather resources. And so if you guys are a fan of those particular video games, I think you'll enjoy this manga, because it goes heavily into that type of realm, especially when you talk about Stella Online. I mean, come on, that's kind of almost a direct correlation with Elite Dangerous, Star Citizen in particular. But there's kind of one thing I kind of want to show. But the illustrations are great. The panels are awesome. I love the idea that we get a captain of his particular ship. It has the essence, I would want to say, as a Firefly. Now, I know that's a big claim to state. But it's got that vibe that we're going to have a good crew. We're going to have this epic starship. And the starship does have a name. I can't quite remember top of my hand exactly what it is. But we also get world building, which is nice to see. So here we get kind of a background of our two main, or we got three main factions right now. Oh, maybe four if you count the mercenaries, but we got the Termin Empire, and then we've also got the, as we page over here, the Belbelium Federation. So again, it's very simplistic, but again, it's world building, and that's what's nice to see. And we get to follow in the footsteps of this main character, trying to discover what exactly is going on. So we feel like we're in his shoes, trying to figure out, oh, what exactly is going on. And so he does all his research within the game, and yeah, it felt like I was definitely part of the character and immersed into this world. So definitely enjoyed it. Again, if you're a big fan of Elite Dangerous, Star Citizen, Star Made, all those type of Starbound to a degree, then I would recommend this manga for you. So, but let's see. With that, that is Reborn as a Space Mercenary. One thing I forgot to mention is that this is older teen, 15 plus by 7 Seas Entertainment. I would recommend though that this should be a M for mature rating, because there are some scenes in here that would make it mature. So I would definitely, if you're going to get this manga, there is some nudity in here, so something to take into consideration. But with that, great story. I look forward to reading the next one. And with that, guys, I'll see you on the next video.